No, not that Moxie. And welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name's Ruben, and this is my review for Netflix's original movie, Moxie. Fed up with the sexist and toxic status quo at her high school, a shy 16-year-old finds inspiration from her mother's rebellious past and anonymously publishes a zine that sparks a school-wide coming-of-age revolution. Directed by Amy Poehler and based on a novel by Jennifer Mathieu. So as a 40-year-old dude watching a film about young teens in a school, I thought, yeah, I'm not going to have much to relate to. I was once a teen, but yeah, maybe this won't be for me. And I was also thinking this is going to be one of those, yeah, everything's wrong with the world and we know what's right, and I was kind of right. Yeah, so I thought, okay, this is not going to be for me. And actually, I really ended up enjoying this, and I also ended up wanting to don my leather jacket and start a rebellious cause. But that's not to say it's cheesy and that's like me belittling the message of the story. It actually has a really great message. So let me know in the comments, were you excited to see this? Were you a little bit worried? Did you think it was going to be too cheesy and too teen angsty? It has some of that in it, but the message, I think, comes flying through. This is Amy Poehler's second directorial debut, her first one being Wine Country. And I have to say, I wasn't massively... from a person who hasn't directed a film, from a guy who's talking on the internet, who has worked on film, but behind films, I haven't directed any films myself, apart from shorts. I've been involved in cinematography, I am a writer, I've written novels, all of that. I have experience. So I'm just very wary of always judging, saying, oh, her first directorial debut wasn't very great. That's just from random dude on the internet going, yeah, I didn't really enjoy the first film, Wine Country, and that's okay. I thought it was very funny, but as a film and as a story, as a progression of characters, I just didn't quite get it. But this time around, I have to say, her direction for me was excellent. You really get character development in this. You see characters that are not perfect, that learn along the way, and the fruition of that storytelling is empowering and has something to say. At times it is preachy, and at times it's very on the nose, and at times it's in your face. But that's only little parts of the film. Other parts of the film, it really does do what it's setting out to do. Sorry, I got something in my eye. This is based off a novel that Amy Poehler was given to her by someone in her office. She has her own studios, and they all read it, they all loved it, so they kind of got involved with this. The whole art department is all very, I think, all female. The writers, I think, are mostly all female. There's very little male cast in this. And that's not me going, hey, they hate males. It's just a female empowerment film without knocking men. And I think that's a tricky line to draw. But there are a bunch of, when you get the rebellious tone that you're going for in this film, there are a bunch of times where guys are drawn into it. So it's not like a film going, all guys are crappy. It's just saying that there are moments throughout. If you watch any school films, you'll know that there's a genre thread theme, that there's bully, there's sexism, there's rape, there's all that kind of nastiness that goes on, that a lot of the time those sort of stories are just swept aside. And so this one is taking some of that and then giving a voice for it. And when I say it's on the nose, sometimes you just need to watch the like literally the first scene. I think it's the first 15-second scene where there's a girl that can't scream. She has no voice, and it's literally saying, I have no voice, I need a voice, I want to say something, and then obviously we'll see the fruition and the change of the character in that. And I thought that was excellent. The way that Amy Poehler has also been the character in this film. She wasn't initially going to be the mother, but then obviously she does. And I thought that was actually a good decision. Often, sometimes directors bite off too much, where they're the director, they're the actor, the producer, the writer, and the project gets too much and then it unravels. This time around, obviously she still has all her hands in all these little cake pockets, but somehow she's managed to actually come off as being a really believable mother with a great relationship. As in, it's not a Hollywood relationship. It's not this fake, perfect relationship. They're broken, but they also have a good relationship, so it's not just totally disastrous. The characters in the film are, I feel like, as believable as you can be on screen. Because everybody's obviously putting on a persona. It all comes from someone's biased opinion of what school looks like. It's all written by people that say certain things. But somewhere along the line, you get a certain translation of that. And so you yourself as a viewer have to pick out these little nuggets of gold of what actually it is like. But for the most part, I feel like it is being truthful for the story that it's telling. So with all of that rambling in that sentence and all those words I've used, I feel like it's being authentic, if that makes sense. So the relationships you're getting here also really great. There's a really nice little adult relationship between Amy Poehler and Clark Gregg, who I love from all the Marvel stuff, and he's obviously directed a couple of films, but I really like to see him involved in films like this, and that little relationship was really good. Those little moments that they had of him was awesome. So I'm a little bit geeky nerd when it comes to Mr. Gregg. Amy Poehler herself, I was hoping there wasn't going to be like a ridiculous cheese comedy, because she does dry comedy really well, but that wouldn't really have fitted in here. But there are comedy beats. It's not a comedy, but in her dialogue, what she says, the way she responds is funny in a very real way. And I thought, wow, the balance, getting that right was tricky, but it's been transposed, and it feels very world. Again, very realized, a very realized world. You have other actors in this that I thought, and especially the younger cast, were excellent. Obviously, it's all really focused on them. It picks on race and sexism, obviously assault. These very dark themes. It also picks on the fact that when you're a teen, not everything in your mind is right. You don't get everything. It doesn't always work. You're experiencing things. I have 2 teens in my house at the moment, so I know that apart from me having been a teen once, can you believe it? I know all the changes that you go through, and then having to experience that sort of thing. There's enough to go through without all that nonsense. And so you find that you are rooting for your characters in this film, which I think is the job that you want done. At the end of the film, if you come away thinking, yeah, that stuff is nasty, I want to get up and do something, be outspoken, go and join a group, at least try that. The one, I think, is the main message. The one can make a difference. All it needs is one person to stand up and say, no, this is not okay. And I think that is the message, and I think it does a good job. So the filming itself, I thought, was excellent. There was no points that I picked up on any like bad focusing or bad transitions or anything that wasn't entertaining. So just because it's not like, wow, changing cinematography, what it does say is that this was a tight film. The scripting and dialogue was tight. The acting was good. There are cheesy moments, but I think that is more because I'm not of that demographic. I think if you're a young teen, you're going to enjoy this and probably relate to it. If you're an adult, you're going to relate to it with some of the adults and what they go through with their kids, but also having gone through some of that stuff yourself. So yay female empowerment, great, yay feminism in the right way, and I feel like the right way is the tone that this film does, because not all dudes are bad. There are some bad dudes and there's some bad girls, and I think the balance there is shown somewhat. Interesting film. Let me know what you think about this film. What do you think about Amy Poehler's second directorial? It's not her debut; it's her second film, and I'm going to give this a solid B+. I think it's a solid film. I enjoyed it. I don't know if I'd rush out to watch it again. I thought the music was excellent. The score was great. Yeah, good film. Thanks so much for watching this, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long Tuesday.